Oh, is my hat on like completely? Yeah, it is. Okay. All right. This thing just went through the washer.
Previously on Boosted Problems, the 96 Legacy Turbo has some issues. Let's see if we can figure it out.
Alright guys, it is the next day. I've got the oil pan cleaned off the block, stuck it back up there, got everything torqued, and new filter. Pan was clean, nothing in there. Whatever noise I heard, it sounded like it was coming from the rear of the engine bay and down some. That's about where the turbo is, give or take. Really was banking on it being the turbo, just having the pinwheel in the back, just kind of rattling around in the housing. Turbo seemed fine. I'm still going to replace it because, I mean, we're 3 bolts away, 3 bolts and a hose away. 3 bolts and 2 hoses away from getting it off of there. The plan now is I'm going to pull the valve covers off, and I want to take a look in there because from the way it sounded, there could be a rocker or something that's just off in there. We'll see what that looks like. I've had them off before, but it was a long time, and I've got a couple cars. I did manage to break one of the plug wires yesterday, checking and making sure that there wasn't a loose plug. I am going to go ahead and put new plugs in this because it needs new wires now, because yanking the plug off, I gave it a wiggle and a twist and this and that, but the wire connection stayed in the hole here. Oh, is my hat on like completely? Yeah, it is. Okay. All right. This thing just went through the washer. That'll work. No. Okay. Sorry, my hat went through the washer, so it was a bit wonky there. Yeah, so that's next step is I'm going to pull that off, and if I don't see anything there, I'm going to pull the front timing cover off and make sure that the tensioner is still all right and it's not slapping around making noise. But then we'll just start it up and see what happens. Well, it's clean in there. It's got no debris, so that's good. There's no loose or missing rockers. There. Let's get our valve cover back on. Same thing on the side. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and throw the injectors in here. These are the side feeds, so it's pretty easy. All I have to do is unhook them here at the harness, and then there's a cap that goes over with 2 screws. I just have to pull the 2 screws off, wiggle the injector out, and then pop the new one in there with a little bit of lubrication, put the caps back on, redo the screws, plug it in. The reason this actually is not injectors. This box looked like it would be injectors, but no, it's battery terminals. So I'm gonna go get the injectors and toss them in. All right, guys, I got the caps for the fuel injectors off. This is what I was talking about. That goes over, and then there's just literally 2 Phillips head screws that hold them in. Sometimes you gotta use an impact driver on them, but I find that if they haven't been in there a really long time, you can actually just like lean on the screwdriver and get it to break loose. So now I'm gonna wiggle these injectors out. I generally end up having to use hose pliers on these. They have little holes in them that you can grab through. And as many times as I've swapped injectors out of Subaru, I've never had an issue doing them that way. And this is what I'm talking about. They have these little holes on them right there. Oh my. These injectors are totally wrong. These are top feeds. All right, so this is not getting done today because I obviously can't throw top feeds in there without a fuel rail conversion. I'm not doing that. So that's going to go back in so that I don't get anything in the fuel system. I'm going to leave the caps off on them though because they are still going to get changed, but these need to get returned to eBay. That was from the plug wire that busted. Unfortunately. So I do have a set of plug wires coming for this. It looks like the ones off of a 98 Impreza or a 98 Legacy single overhead cam 2.2. Looks like it should work. There's a good amount of shaft play on this turbo, so it is possible that the noise I was hearing was just the impeller housing or was just the turbine actually scraping the housing. It's possible. Either way, I have the turbo, I ordered it, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the TD04 off and put on the VF39. Alright, so let's take a look at what we got here. Let's see if I can. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. I'm sure you can hear it though. There's a good amount of shaft play in that. Now what I was expecting, I've seen in the past where the little wheel in the back here, right down in here, I've seen where these are actually rattling around inside before. It's got some shaft play. Nothing crazy, but it does. So now we can compare our two turbos here. Ooh, I think I'm going to do this on the ground. Alright guys, here's a little comparison for you. You can see here is the TD04, and then there is the larger VF39. Let's actually take a look at the sizing on these. Now, the outside on this is 56 millimeters. The outside on this, also 56 millimeters. But you can see the inside on this is about 37 millimeters. And the inside on this is 47. So this is 10 centimeter larger wheel in there. Let's take a look at what we've got back here as far as the housing goes. These are pretty much the same. It looks like we're at 43 and it's 43. It's about the same. Different shape. The VF39 comes straight out, whereas this one sort of bells over a little bit. So that may change the location of this in the bay by an inch or so. We'll see. It looks pretty. That looks pretty similar to the way it lines up from center hole to center hole with this. And let's take a look at the back housing here. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, this is much larger. You can see there's the wheel for that. And here's the one for that. It's so far down in there. It's really dark and hard to see, but trust me when I tell you it's a bigger difference than it is on the intake. So that should be pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to install this bad boy.
Like and subscribe, suckers.